right. Hi, everybody. Welcome to episode 8 of the Podcast, the world's best and coolest podcast. We're here with Mika today. We're going to learn about Issei Mochi gummies, which are really delicious. I've been eating quite a few of them in our house. They've been a big hit. But really want to learn more about where the product came from and how this came about. It's a really cool idea. So, Mika, do you want to talk a little bit? Let all of our legions of fans know, where did you get the idea, and then how did you turn the idea into a reality?
Thank you so much, Peter. It's an honor to be here. I launched this product 2 years ago. Today's actually our birthday.
Oh, happy birthday.
Thank you. I got this idea because I have two little boys. They're not so little anymore, but they were very little when they were obsessed with gummy candies, all kinds of chewy, Sour Patch, gummy bears, gummy worms. They were always asking for it, and I always felt guilty as a mom buying them, things that I knew were junk. Lots of artificial colors, flavors, and it was made with gelatin, which actually used to make me kind of nauseated if I ate too much of it. So, being Japanese, I grew up eating mochi cakes, and I, on a hunch, just started to bake these sheets of mochi cakes at my home, my kitchen, and I made them into small cubes and dried them out and started to experiment with different flavors. I'm a cook. I love to cook. So I was always baking and cooking anyway. And my kids loved them. And then their friends loved them. And then the parents of our kids' friends loved them. And I think that was kind of a turning point. And I happen to live in Bethesda, Maryland, where a lot of people work for Mars. Some folks I know work for Unilever, and they said, drop everything and do this. And I thought, that's crazy. I know nothing about food. I know nothing about CPG. Um, and I was just curious to find out, what is the shelf life of something like this? How do you go about figuring out a shelf life? And I found a great food scientist, and he told me, yeah, well, your shelf life is basically 2 days because it's rice cakes and it molds and it stales. And after 2, 3 days, it's like a fresh product. And in Japan, we sell it as a baked good. So that started a whole journey of trying to figure out a scalable recipe, an industrial recipe for shelf-stable gummies. And we launched 2 years ago with Whole Foods. And here we are today.
Wow. I mean, that's amazing. So, I mean, and then it happened so quickly. I worked at Whole Foods for many years, so they've been a great supporter and advocate of innovation for 40 years now, which is great. But how did you get from zero to that scale of an account so quickly? I mean, how did you unravel the mystery of the shelf life and still, because it's still, I ate a lot of mochi. I've been to Japan. This tastes like the real thing, quote unquote, but it has the shelf life that is functional for CPG in America. How did you unlock that?
Thank you for saying that, Peter. I mean, it's really important to me and my sort of culture and my community to make sure that we're doing it right. So I'm so happy to hear that you think that it tastes authentically like mochi cakes. So mochi cakes are really simple. They're the traditional mochis are made with just rice, sweet rice, and water, and that's just not shelf stable. So we were able to formulate a different combination of tapioca starch and rice starch, and really experimenting with the pH balance to make sure that it was stable. So it's really chemistry, basically. We didn't put any emulsifiers, stabilizers, nothing really artificial to extend it. And I think that's why it took us such a long time, because I didn't want to throw in things that a lot of people told us we can throw in to make it easier.
Right. Right. And well, ultimately, because you kept it clean and you kept it natural, you expanded your total addressable market. So, if you took the easy way out, you might have had an easier path to launch, but you wouldn't have, as your market, accounts like a Whole Foods, a Sprouts, a Fresh Market, and the natural channel like you do. So I think you made the right decision for sure.
Thank you so much. I think because it was rooted in my desire to do something better for my kids, it
Hmm.
was really never a question of whether or not, I was going to put in some artificial colors and stabilizers. What's the point? Then I should just buy them what's out there already. I really
Right.
wanted to do
Right.
something better for them and their
Right.
friends.
Yeah, I think we, at Pod Foods, we're all about supporting innovation in all forms. But the best innovations are the innovations that make product taste better and make it healthier and make it more accessible, right? It's not just the same product with a new package, right? Like that's not true innovation, right? So I think the reason why you've had so much success is that you've taken something that a large mainstream audience understands, but you've made it better and much more approachable and much more accessible along the way, right? I
Thank
had a
you.
question though. I was interested. How did you, I mean, because you could have done 1,000 different flavors. How did you arrive at the flavors that you chose? And was there any trial and error to that process, or how did you zero in on exactly what SKUs you wanted to launch with and expand with?
Did tons of trials, tons of testing. We probably tested out 40, 50 flavors. We're still testing it out today because mochi is a blank canvas, right? So
Right.
you can really bring it into different directions. We launched with strawberry, mango, and vanilla because, the concept of mochi gummies is still quite, I mean, it's completely new, but quite foreign, right? People know what mochi ice cream is, so we didn't have to educate from zero. But still, mochi gummies, what's that? If I came out with mochi gummies ube or mochi gummies, ume, I think it's a
Yeah.
lot of hurdles
Yeah.
for the normal consumer to jump over, right? And our brand name is called Issei, which is a foreign word. It means first generation Japanese immigrants in the US. So we wanted to come out with flavors that people were familiar with, that people could embrace, like strawberry. That's very easy. That's our best seller, actually. And yuzu is something that we launched last year, and it's an exciting flavor, but I think it takes time for people to really
Yeah.
get used to, right? To learn. So this was the rationale behind our first SKUs.
So in terms of packaging design, I feel like it's very elegant and minimalist. Like it follows that classic Japanese concept of like the negative space. Like I feel like there's a lot of high impact negative space on the packaging that makes it stand out more. Um, what is it made out of? Like, do you know off the top of your head? Because it feels
Oh
like
yeah.
it has a unique and a good way. Like it feels clean, even from the package perspective before you even open it.
Thank you. I love how you brought up the concept, the aesthetic philosophy in Japan that void is very important. Empty space is just as valuable as the way you fill it, right? So I designed the package. I custom designed the material. It's rice paper with a film inside to protect the mochi from being dried out. But I wanted it to feel like a bag of actual rice. So traditional rice in Japan is sold with rice paper and or craft paper. So I wanted it to feel very authentic and artisanal.
Yeah, no, I think it does. It does. I'm gonna try one. So this is yuzu. Uh, that's my favorite flavor. I'm a foodie, so for me, yuzu sounds like right up my alley. I'm not surprised that strawberry is the top seller, right? For sure. Have you been able or have you been able to at least contemplate getting into seasonal flavors or limited time flavors?
Yes, absolutely. We'll be launching some seasonal flavors for the holidays. and for
Cool.
Valentine's. And, we're just 2 years in and we're basically two, three people working on this. So it's just a lot in terms of logistics. But we're really excited about all the seasonal flavors, as you say, and doing, limited time
Yeah.
online exclusive flavors.
And that's, I mean, that's one of the things that we aspire to do is to help successful brands be more nimble, to
Yeah,
be rolling out limited time brands. So maybe even though your brand is already very successful with wide placements, we want to help that type of innovation where maybe the next, the best flavor of the future is something you haven't even launched yet. It,
absolutely. I totally believe that. I think, you know, what we're trying to do is to inject diversity and global flavors and inclusion of different textures and flavors. So I think there are flavors like yuzu or like ume or lychee or horchata, that people, or chili mango that people really haven't been exposed to, which
yep.
is really exciting.
Cross culturally, right. So there could be very traditional Japanese flavors where there's, ume's February, March, and the hanami time is in April, right? So like you could have that, but there's also different seasonal citrus or different seasonality in the US or cross cultural, like a horchata would be really cool, right? So it really is a blank canvas. I think the barrier for a lot of consumers is they just haven't been exposed to it, or when they have been exposed to it, it's been frozen or refrigerated in short shelf life. But because you've cracked the code on making it shelf stable and a longer shelf life, more people are going to see it and they're going to be exposed to that blank canvas now. And there's really nothing about it that that's inaccessible from a flavor perspective, right? So it's a very easy for people to get into, I think.
Thank you for that. It's so impressive how you know all the flavors of Japan. Um, One of the different variations that we did in terms of innovation, we launched just for a limited time for Valentine's chocolate covered strawberry gummies.
Oh, cool.
And it just sold out like this. And we won actually the MIPA Award, the Most Innovative New Product Award at Sweets and Snacks for that. So we're going to be launching that as a SKU, as a permanent SKU in terms of our next launches. So we're really excited about the different kinds of ways in which you can use this texture. So not just as a gummy in and of itself, but chocolate covered,
Yeah.
clusters. There's so many different ways that you can use this.
I would be interested as a customer in savory flavors too.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely. Yeah. And mochi cakes can be fried, it could be, baked, it could be yeah, cooked many, many different ways.
yeah. So I saw on LinkedIn recently, so you're in over 2,000 doors in less than in 2 years. Like today's your birthday, right? So I mean, that's impressive, right? And it's not surprising. But where do you want to go from here? What's next for your brand in 2025? What are your aspirations for your third birthday?
I think we've been really obsessed and focused on innovation, the innovation pipeline and the different things that you can do with this texture. So, in addition to being in more doors, it's really about how can we add value? How can we bring incremental growth to the candy sector? How can we bring diversity and create excitement and introduce new flavors and really celebrate world culture? So that's really been the drive. Um, and I think, having retail success, it follows that because in terms of getting people excited, that's marketing, but that's really what's going to bring people to the shelf and try it out.
Yep, yep, I agree. Well, I'm really impressed. I'm a big fan of the product. It's been great to be able to meet you. I think everybody should be able to try it. Where are some of the great, you mentioned Whole Foods already. Where are some of the chain accounts where some of our listeners would be able to grab your product the next time they're in the grocery store?
Thank you. We're national with Sprouts. We're in 500 doors Albertsons. Walmart will be launching in a very big account in a week and a half. So very excited about that.
Awesome.
Raley's, Hy-Vee, Compass Group. So very excited.
Congratulations.
Thank
That's
you.
great.
Thank you
All
so
right. Good luck. Happy birthday again.
Thank you so much for having me, Peter. Thank you.